Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi and today we are going to see some other plots in basically that Seaborn library, right? So previously what we were doing, just let me quickly give you a recap that what we have done till now in this particular tips data set which we have taken as sample for explaining you all of the plots which you can make using that Seaborn library, okay? So firstly, what I have done, I have imported the required libraries which I need here for making my plots, right? The first library was the NumPy library, okay? So I have written import NumPy as NP. So basically what is NP? NP is a short form which I have given to that library. Now, next is Pandas. So why I have just imported Pandas? Because Pandas is used for reading the data, right? So my data which I have taken, which was tips. So tips data set is like we need to read that, okay? But the data which we have taken is tips, and tips is one of the data that is already stored in the Seaborn library. Okay, so in that case, I haven't used this pandas library. In that case, I have used this Seaborn library for which I have written import Seaborn as SNS, right? So in because I have just taken the data set which is already already stored in that Seaborn library, right? So I cannot read that thing using pandas, right? If I'm going to do that, then I'm just going to get some errors, right? Some exceptions, some errors that the Seaborn is the data which is basically stored in like Seaborn library. The steps is the data, but why we are just like using it from the pandas, right? So the data which is stored in the particular library, you just need to use that library for reading that particular data, fine. So and even we have just taken the matplotlib.pyplot as plt because this was one of the in one of the plots we have just used this matplotlib.pyplot as plt for some more functioning, right? So that is why I have just taken it here, right? So these are the libraries which we are dealing with in this particular tips data set. So I would just quickly revise that once more, that are NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn and matplotlib.pyplot, right? Next what I am taking, next I am taking this how to just load my data, right? So for that I have taken a variable. So I hope you have just written all of the codes with me from the previous videos itself, right? And we'll be just continuing it for today also, and even if you have not done that thing, so quickly go and watch the previous videos and have a proper look over all of the things and just write that on the Google Colab notebook, because till the time you're not going to practice these things, you're not going to get any of these concepts very clearly. I'm not saying that you will not get the concepts, you will get, but you will not get them clearly, right? So just practice with me right here only, fine. So t is the variable which I have taken, fine. And in that case, what I have just used, I have used my Seaborn library and I had just given it a short form for SNS. So I have just used that. After that I have used load underscore data set and the name of the data which is tips, fine. So this is the whole idea about using this and how we are just loading the data. And then we just take about the head and tail, that basically what is our data, right? So in the data which we are having columns total bill, tip, and then gender, smoker, day, time, and size. So these are the columns which we are having in our data set, and we had just included one more column, and that column was tip fraction. Okay, so now we are just with these all of these columns, right? So I would just not repeat all these things once more. Let's quickly move towards the like uh, plots for today which we are going to make, right? So I have just explained to you and given you a little bit of idea that what we have done previously, okay? Right. So the plot which we are going to see today is lmplot. Okay, I would just put a comment and I will just write the name of that plot itself here. Okay, this lmplot. Now it is a plot which we are going to see today. Okay, this is a plot which is basically in use to made by using the Seaborn library. Fine. So for that, firstly what I would do, I would just set that text. Okay, set the style. So sns dot set underscore theme. This I have already explained in the previous video, that basically how we just do this thing, right? And I would just put the brackets. Now inside that brackets I would just write style is equal to, I would just right, so style is equal to, and here I would just add text, fine. So this is the thing which I have just done right now. Now I'm just going to write the code for making my lm plot, right? Okay, so firstly I would just use my Seaborn library, as we have just going to make using the Seaborn library. So I have just taken the short form, that is SNS, right? listen to my words very carefully from now, because now we are just going to deal with the syntax, like sorry, parameters and the syntax, whatever are there in lmplot, and I'm going to tell about all of that parameters in one code itself, right? I'm just not going to write these codes in different lines. I will just write one code and I will just define all the parameters here. Okay, so let's listen to my words very carefully now. So SNS dot, I would just write the name of that plot which I am going to build, that is ln plot. Fine. Next, I would just justify my x and y columns. So let's see, on my x, I just want the column that is total bill. Okay, that is numerical column. So I just want that total bill should be displayed on my x axis, right? Moving towards my y axis. On my y axis, I just want that tip fraction would be displayed. Okay, I would just write tip, and here I would just write as fraction, right? Now what I have one parameter that is col. Okay, that is basically my color, that what color you want. So let's say I just want 4 different colors based upon my days. Okay, so the days which we are having in our plot, in our data, let me just quickly show you that thing. Let me just go above, and where's my data? Yeah, so here somewhat we have some days, like okay, in the Sunday is there, Sunday, Saturday. Yeah, you can just see here Saturday, Thursday, Sunday. So basically in between Friday would also be there. Okay, so this is the whole idea about how you're just gonna do that thing. Just let me go down once more. And yeah, so here you can see that we have already made one plot for the days. So in that, basically we are having 4 days, that are Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday in our data set, right? Whatever we are just dealing with. So in that case, I would be getting 4 different colors, because in my color column I have put my day, right? So in that case, I'm just going to get 4 different colors, right? I would go down, because if I'm just going to write in one line, it would be like very mess up, right? So I would just write downside. Now I have the parameter that is hue also. So in that hue case, I just want to add day only, right? In the hue also I want to add day, and in my column also I just want to add day. Now what next I need to write my data, that my data, in which variable basically have you stored your data. So in our case, basically we have stored the data in that T column, right? For me, I have just stored in that particular one, right? Now what I'm just left with here, we have one more one more function, that is col wrap. Okay, so this column wrap is equal to true. Fine. This is one more parameter which we have in this lm plot. After that, I have ci, that I would just put as none. Okay, after I will just put as none. Now what next I have palette. Now palette basically is for the colors, right? P-A-L-E. Okay, I would just write this time down itself. Okay, so I have palette also, in which I just like we need to put some colors, but I would just not put like any particular color here. Fine. Now what next I even have the height. So whatever the height you just want to give to your plots, okay? So in that case, you can just give that particular height. In my case, let's say I would just write as 4, okay? I would just write as 4 the height. Now what next, or what else I have? I have one more parameter, that is scatter underscore kws, right? So in that, basically you need to give some values, okay? So I would just go down. Here I would put that bracket, and inside this I would just write as is like colon then 50, because here I just told that we need to give some values, right? And I need to give some value for alpha itself. Okay, so it's alpha, and I would just give some value, and let's say the value is equal to 1. Fine. So this is basically how you are just gonna like make and put the things. I just need to make it colon also. Fine. So this is basically how you are just gonna make your lm plot. Okay, just let's quickly run at, okay, module c1 has, okay, so it's not n, it's l m. Okay, so I need to, in place of n, I need to write here as m. Fine, I would just run it for a while. Let's quickly see that. Okay, so we are just getting our plot. Fine. Okay, so what we have just got here, we just got 4 plots, right? The first plot is for the day is equal to Thursday. Just see here that what it is written day is equal to Thursday. Second plot I have got day is equal to Friday. You can see the difference in the colors, right? The day Thursday is having the color as blue, and the day Friday is having the color as orange. Fine. Next what I have, next I have day is equal to Saturday. So for Saturday I have the color as green, and for Sunday I have the color as red. Day is equal to Sunday, so color is red. So this is basically how we just make the lm plot, right? So we will get 4 plots. Why? Because here in the color one, and even in the hue I have just put here as day. Now in place of day, if I just gonna put this, okay, just let me explain a little bit more about this day only. So here in this hue I have put the day, right? So because day are four in our data set which we are having, that are Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, right? So in that case I am getting these four plots. Now if I just take a particular column in which I have only two or three distinct variables, right? Let's take the example for the smoker. Okay, if I just write here as a smoker in the hue also and in the color also, I just write here as smoker, then I am going to get only two plots. One for smoker is equal to yes, and one for smoker is equal to no. As you just see that, so one I have for smoker is equal to yes, and second for smoker is equal to no. So for yes we have the color that is blue, and for no we have the color that is orange, right? So this is basically how you just make this lm plot in this Seaborn library. So this is one of the plots which we have discussed. Now moving towards the second plot quickly, I would just name that second plot, and that second plot is named as joint plot. Okay, PLO. Fine, let me just quickly write that, basically how we are just going to do that thing. So I would just take a variable, okay, and here I would just use that short form for my Seaborn library, and that is SNS. Here I would write, okay, I need to write joint plot. Fine. Now what I would firstly do, I would just firstly give the name for my data. So my data is equal to T, right? I've just given that. So T is a variable in which I have stored my data, right? Now what next I have, okay, so here I would just like justify my x and y columns, fine. So in my x, let's say I just write here as total underscore bill. I would just take total bill, okay. And in y, I would just, let's say I would just take y is equal to, I would just take as tip fraction, let's say, okay, tip underscore fraction, fine. Okay. So tip underscore. Okay, I just need to remove one I from here. There are 10 two. Fine. And I will just put a comma and go down. So the things which are just left, I will just write them downside. Fine. Now what here I'm just gonna write. I'm just going to add some more things. So I can just even add the hue parameter also. Okay, if I just want, I can add the hue. So in this case, let's say my hue is a smoker. Fine. My hue is a smoker. And what I have, what kind I just want. Okay, so I would just write here kind is equal to KDE. Okay, so this KDE is also one type of plots only. Basically, we have different kinds, right? Kind is equal to joint, and some more things which we have already discussed in the joint plot. So in that case, we have one more kind, that is KDE. So I've just written that here. I would just run it for a while, and then you can just see that basically how this joint plot looks. Right, so this is our joint plot which we have here. So you can just see that joint plot. Now here what we are just seeing, we are just seeing something like histograms, right? And here what we are just seeing, we are just seeing some circles and all that things. So this is basically what is called as the joint plot, right? This is how we just make the joint plot, and we had made it for total bill and tip fraction. These two are the like x and y values for which we had made this joint plot, right? I hope you just got the idea that how we are just gonna make this thing. So even we have taken the hue as a smoker, right? So in that case, we were having two colors. The first two, we are having two cases in the smoker, yes or no. So in the yes, we are getting the blue color, right? And in no, we are getting the orange color, fine. So this is basically how we just make the joint plot and the LM plot. So these were the two more plots in the Seaborn library, and I just hope that you have made these plots with me itself here in this video only, right? And if you have not done that thing, so what are you just waiting for? Quickly open your laptops and just start making the codes with me, right? So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and bye bye.